Hi, my name is Sage, and I'm here to introduce you to the world of vaping. So in this video, I'm going to be covering a few things. I'm going to be covering the benefits of electronic cigarettes, how they help me, how they can help you, and what is in them. What are these e-cigs made out of? What are the components in them? And what's this e-juice made out of? Like, what is in e-liquid? What am I vaping into my lungs? Is it better than me? Is it better for me than smoking a cigarette? There's a lot of stigma out there that's coming out on e-cigs, and a lot of it is false. We get a lot of false information on these things. So before I say anything, do your own research. When you see an article that someone posted on Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, do the research. See who came out with this article before you just go talking about it. Because especially people posting this stuff on these social media sites, there's just a lot of bad studies. There's a lot of things that shouldn't be credited that are being credited. So do your own research when you see that stuff. Now with that said, I'm going to tell you some information. So, vaping can be defined as an act of inhaling water vapor or some sort of vaporized liquid into your lungs and exhaling it. Now, what is traditionally in e-cigs is propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, nicotine, and flavoring. Those are the components. So there's four main components. Now flavoring can be a whole bunch of little things, but basically it's those four. So PG, propylene glycol, is one of the main components. There's a lot of PG in your juices. Now PG, from my understanding, used to be used in inhalers. It's antibacterial, antifungal. So it prohibits the growth of fungi and bacteria, which is a plus. But it also brings out flavor. PG is great at bringing flavor to the vaping experience because you can just vape VG, vegetable glycerin. You can vape 100% VG, but the PG for most liquids will bring out that flavoring, and so that's why it's used. It's thin, it's water-like, it's not as thick as VG. So PG is mainly used to bring out the flavoring. You know, vegetable glycerin, VG, is another main component. So you got PG, now we got VG. VG is thicker. It's like maple syrupy type thick. Now it's not the color of maple syrup, but it's thick. VG is basically to make a thicker cloud, make a nice thick cloud. So when you have people vaping these larger boxes, these box mods with the big tank or a dripper, the RDAs as we call them, those people are generally, you're going to see those people, and they're using high VG liquids because VG is what produces a lot of the big cloud. People that are looking for the smoke tricks and the vape tricks and the big clouds. So those guys are doing the high VG now. Then you have nicotine. Nicotine is one of the components of the e-cig, and nicotine is an addictive substance, so not all people vape nicotine in their electronic cigarettes. Not everyone does it. A lot of people used to and don't anymore. I personally vape both 3 milligram nicotine and 0 milligram. I kind of rotate between them. Some days I vape mostly 0, and some days I vape mostly 3. It really depends for me. So some people do vape higher levels, so a lot of people vape in like 12 and 18 and 24. People who are ex-smokers, who are smoking like a pack or 2 packs a day, they'll be doing that. And then you have the flavorings in them. Now, it's also good if you're making your own liquids to always check who's making the flavoring, and if it's a safe company, if it's US based, and if the liquid, if you're buying it pre-bottled, really try to get an American-made company. If you're in Europe, try to get a company that's in your country. I really recommend trying to stick away from stuff that's shipped overseas because the regulations for that country could be very different. The standards set by the vaping industry especially, it could be very different. So I live in the United States of America. I buy USA blends, and that's what I trust. So those are the components of an e-cig. Now, e-cigs cut out those 4,000 chemicals that you can find in a cigarette. There's just a million ways that cigarettes are bad for you. There's thousands of chemicals in them, carcinogens, and they're horrible. We know that. So this is a better alternative, in my opinion. I've seen a lot of people that have gone to vaping that have benefited from it. I knew actually a girl who ran like 4 or 5 miles a day consecutively, and her two main addictions, she said, were nicotine and running. She couldn't give up either one, but she couldn't live with both, so she switched to vaping. She got her nicotine, she could still run. She said that she ran so much better because her lungs were clearing up, her stride, her stamina, all this stuff was just benefiting her when she switched to vaping. So that's why I see the effects in people, and I see it's helping them. They're not smelling like ashtrays. People who used to smoke cigars will just reek up a whole room. And if they switch to vaping, it's a good alternative. Not everyone can completely quit these things, but if you can even cut down, it's definitely something to consider. So I'm going to go over the components of the actual unit itself. So you have a battery. A lot of these devices use 18650 batteries, which are seen in here. So these are 18650s. I've got 2 of them. Got more in the bag. So that's kind of what batteries I'm using. Some of them are using LiPo batteries nowadays, lithium ion polymer, something like that. So LiPos. Yeah, so batteries. You got the tube or the unit, something that's holding the battery. A lot of these will have a computer chip in them, so they'll be regulated. I highly recommend people who are getting into it pick up a regulated device. Don't pick up a mechanical mod. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it. Just try to get something regulated. It's a lot safer than using a mechanical just for other reasons that I'm not going to go into in this video. Then you have the cartridge or the tank. You have the cartridge or the tank. So some of these blue ecigs will use the cartridges, and you'll kind of screw them on and stuff like that and puff on them. I'm using a tank right here. There's also drippers, RDAs, stuff like that, which I'm not going to get into right now, but basically in this tank you have a couple different things. You have a coil. So the coil will have different ohms, and that is what is heating up the liquid to vaporize it. So this coil right here that I got in this, I have in this Arctic tank, all it is this little bad boy. And they come in different sizes. So this is the main, this is really the component of the vaporizer that matters the most, in my opinion, is the coil itself. So this has got wire and cotton in it. They're going to come in a lot of different sizes, a lot of different shapes. You'll see ones that are much larger than this or much smaller, and they come in a lot of different sizes. So that's the coil. The coil is what is heating up. So there's wire in that coil. That's the actual coil itself. The wire, and then you have cotton around the wire. And it's all in there. So this is the tank. The liquid goes in that tank. The VG, PG, and flavoring and nicotine is all in the tank. So you got your batteries in here, you got the unit, the tube, the box, the chip that's regulating it, and then you have the tank with the coil in it. You screw it all together, and you have yourself a vaporizer. Smooth as can be. Love every minute of it. So that kind of sums it up for today. That was kind of my basics into my introduction into e-cigs. I really do believe this is a healthy alternative to smoking. It's definitely improved my life. It's improved a lot of other people's lives in many different ways. You're smoking cigarettes, you're smoking cigars, you're smoking hookah. It's all bad for you. Tobacco, we now know, is very bad. Cigarettes especially, they have all these chemicals in them, carcinogens that are hurting our lungs. So if you think that vaping is right for you, if you think that it could even be an option for you, I definitely recommend going down to your local vape shop, trying it out, maybe trying some flavors out, seeing if it can help you, because smelling like an ashtray, breathing in all these chemicals into your lungs is not the way to live your life. We want to live long, prosperous, healthy, happy lives. So if we can make even small steps towards living these long, healthy, happy lives, I think we should do it, and I think vaping is going to be part of that. So this is Sage, and I will catch you all later.